Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jill, this is David, and we're the Touring Townsends. On this trip we're going to be going to two areas. Firstly, we've got the NEC Motorhome and Caravan Show in a couple of days' time, so we're going to stay nearby in preparation for that. Then we're going to head to the Lincolnshire coast and have a wander around that area because we've got our habitation check for the motorhome in about 10 days' time in Lincoln. So follow along as we explore two places or two areas that we haven't really visited before. So this is our first stop on this trip. This is Chapel Lane Caravan and Motorhome Club site. As you can see, looking around, it's not that busy at the moment, although it's fully booked later in the week. It's just south of Birmingham, so perfect for the NEC. We're just going to spend the day having a walk in the area because we're going to the NEC tomorrow. We planned the walk using OS Maps to be a circular walk that took in some footpaths, some woodland and some stretches that were on roads but fairly quiet roads. The next morning we drove to the NEC, not far from our campsite, but of course we got stuck in all the show traffic, so it took us quite a while. Once on site it was all very organised and we got parked up in a nice big space, big enough for the motorhome. We spent the day looking at alternative motorhomes, just in case that's needed at some point in the future. I'm afraid we didn't think to pick the camera up at any point as we were so involved in what we were looking at.
So this is where we stayed last night. After we left the NEC, we drove for about an hour and a half and stopped here. Just an overnight stop. We didn't want to drive all the way to the coast after the show. We knew we'd be quite tired. So this is Heronbrook CL, part of the Caravan and Motorhome Club again. And it's got some hard standing and some grass. And most importantly, it's off a farm track, so it's really, really quiet. Nice area, very dark at night, but we had a very peaceful night's sleep, and now we're going to head for the coast. So this is our next stop, Mablethorpe, and this is somewhere a little different for us because it's a haven caravan site. Not somewhere we'd normally stay, but we got an extremely good deal. It's £56 for 3 nights. It's on grass, but it's nice and firm, and it's electric hookup included. Plus we get entry to the swimming pool and all the facilities. Not that we're likely to use a lot of that, but we do have access to it if we want. The only downside so far is that when we arrived, we had to move a load of geese before we could get onto our pitch. So there's an awful lot of poop underfoot that we've got to be careful of as we're walking around. So today we're going to take a walk along the coast, heading southwards towards Sutton-on-Sea. Hopefully we'll see some more birds, maybe a seal or two, and we've got quite a nice day for it. promenade that runs all the way from Mablethorpe to Sandilands, further south than Sutton-on-Sea. So we opted to spend quite a bit of time walking on that as it was a nice flat surface. So this morning we're going to take a walk in the opposite direction, northwards up the coast. Not sure how far we'll get, and it's quite chilly today as well, but we'll see what we can see and hopefully get some wildlife shots at least. It's much quieter this side of Mablethorpe. The tide's pretty low at the moment. There are curlew down there on the water's edge, but too far away for us to get any pictures. The beach itself is really quiet. Miles and miles of sand. That's the direction we're going to walk in. See what we can see. So we opted to come off the beach after a while as it started to become marshland and quite muddy. That's what the shiny stuff you can see is. We walked onto the coast path just a bit off the beach. So we came off the beach onto the coast path heading towards Saltfleet, but we've decided to turn back now. It's not the most scenic of walks and it's a bit cold, and Dave's ankle's hurting today as well. So we're going to walk back along the coastal path, see what that's like and get back to Mablethorpe. Next day, it was time to leave Mablethorpe and move on to our next stop. We said goodbye to the Haven site. We'd enjoyed our stay there, very good value, The geese were a nuisance, they were quite noisy in the night at times, but the site was very good. We didn't use all of the facilities, the pool was only open 10 till 4 and we were usually out and about at that time. But it was a good base for us to explore that area and get to know the coastline both north and south of Mablethorpe. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, it's free and it will really help us to grow this channel. On the next video, we're visiting Skegness and exploring the town and the surrounding area.